Okay, hold on a second, Keisha. Just let me ask Ronald exactly what's going on, because it takes two to tango, and I need to hear his side of the story.
So she's driving insane, got stress heavy on my brain. She keeps playing silly games, man, I'm about to bring the pain. We seem to fuss and fight every day and every night. Please give some advice so we can see the light, see the light.
I'm Zoe Williams of Reason. If your relationship is in trouble, I'm the dude to call. Has your soulmate become your cellmate? Does black love still exist? What are your best turn-offs? Fantasies and fetishes. Financial infidelity. I'm dating a fat person. Are they worth the wait? Trust me, this gonna be crazy.
How about this? Child wasn't his, and he still had to pay child support.
It's a very heated topic.
How was that right?
Mama's baby, daddy's maybe.
I want to ask you.
I just like to kiss a woman's ass. Is there something wrong with that?
Damn.
I'm pregnant.
Betrayal has been committed.
Hit you with the bad routine.
How does he maintain his humposity?
He likes it when it pins nip.
Why can't you open up, brother?
I'm a karate man. Karate man on the inside. They don't show their weaknesses.
Yeah.
How do you write women so well?
Zoe Williams.
Reason and accountability.
The voice of reason.
Yeah, it's Wednesday, hump day, motherfucker.
Hey.
So much afraid to even be doing this show.
Yeah. Ooh.
Uh-oh.
I've been
Right.
avoiding talking about some of this crap, so way to go, Zoe.
Yeah, to
Ooh.
dig. Just, it has never happened on the voice of reason before.
Right, you saved that.
This is a Zoe situation.
She said some dumb shit.
But people have been reaching out like we want the women's perspective.
That's right. You're going to hear it, too.
We want to hear what the ladies have to say. And I want to hear from the callers. The number to dial is 323-230-4610. Listen, you're listening to the Zoe Morning Show. This ain't the Zoe What Morning Show.
Right.
Uh-oh.
Get your whole life, though.
Voice of
No.
reason, baby.
This is the voice of reason, but we're basically doing the Zoe What Morning Show.
Aha.
And it feels awkward to.
It should, because that's usually all men.
Right.
Our men.
Lady.
But people just
Right.
send me, please, I want to hear what they think. Maybe they want to hear what you guys think because of something. Maybe there's a nefarious reason.
Of course.
You're listening to the voice of reason on Dash Talk. I'm Zoe Williams, sometimes unreasonable. The number to dial is 323-230-4610. That's 323-230-4610. Before I get into the topic tonight, which is VOR, it even sounds strange. Voice of Reason, current events with the ladies.
Hey.
Yikes.
Hey.
I'm going to see how y'all self with this.
Ooh.
It's going to be interesting. Before we get into the topics, though, you know I like to promote black-owned businesses. I have on a pair of Android-owned sneakers, luxury sneakers. If you go to androidohm.com and put my name in, Z-O Williams, W-I-L-L-I-A-M-S, that's Z-O-W-I-L-L-I-A-M-S, Android Ohm, Android like the phone, Ohm, H-O-M-E.com, that's androidohm.com. You're going to get 25% off luxury sneaker brand. I go support Android-owned, black-owned business, luxury sneaker brand sold all over the world. Please support the movement. I don't know if you guys know, but Dash Talk is changing.
Yay.
That's good.
Woo woo.
You under dig? Like it's changing for the better because I've started to add. I mean, I got friends that are, radio guys.
Right.
So we're adding new what they call imaging.
Okay.
Now Dash Radio has an imager.
Okay.
Somebody who does the, like when you're listening to the radio and you hear this is Power 106 and then you hear all the little noises. They call that imaging. I got somebody doing it for me. I decided to use somebody different than Dash Talk, and we've got some pretty good ones. I'm going to play some of them.
Ooh, hey, samples.
But Dash Talk is changing, I'm changing the music. I've been adding a lot of music.
Okay.
I had to program the music to what I like.
Okay.
So, it's going to be real cold, man. I'm telling you that right now. So let me get back to my promoting. Last month, you guys did Total Package Energy well.
Yay.
Total
That's
Package
right.
Energy sold 110 cases.
Hey.
Awesome. Oh, that's
Thank
good.
you. Awesome.
You guys keep this black-owned business alive. You in the dig? You keep it alive. Total Package Energy.
Thank y'all.
Neural enhancer, amino acids, no sugars, no carbs. You guys make it. All right? Sometimes I feel like I'm asking for outlandish support for this black-owned business.
Never.
With all the bullshit that's going on in the world, this is a modicum of success when I see that. All the strife, all the arguments and disagreements and disrespect that's happening in the world, and then the guy from Total Package Energy says, hey, man, we sold 110 cases.
Hey.
Wow, that's what's up.
So can we get to 200 cases?
Yay. I'm going to order mine today.
We could start that by doing 45. Let's get 40 today. And again, I look at everything on a monthly basis. Like, for instance, today is May 2nd.
20 days to my birthday. Hey.
So, May 2nd, get relationship out sold for the month of May. We only sold one copy.
Uh-oh, already behind.
We already behind.
Oh, no.
Right.
You under dig? And, I know a lot of people have the book, but, I'm no longer responsible for the paperback versions. So I really need this book to trend on Amazon.com. I want it to trend now. And I think if we move in force, if we move as a collective, we can get the relationship dismount landing when exiting a toxic relationship. We can get that thing to trend on Amazon.com. I think it can happen. Paperback version. Get over there and order your copy ASAP. What else do I have to promote? I got a lot of shit, but I'm not going to promote it. As a matter of fact, I'm so antsy. I want to promote. I want you guys to hear some of these drops.
Yes, please.
Listen, my homeboy did this drop, man. Listen to this shit.
This is Dash Talk, the spot where you're limiting beliefs.
Get bitch slapped.
Yes.
I'm going to play it again.
I love it.
This
I like
is
that.
Dash Talk, the spot where you're limiting beliefs.
Get bitch slapped.
That's right.
Now-
That's fucking fire.
Now, of course, I wrote all of these.
We
You're
know.
listening to Dash Talk.
The place where your bullshit beliefs come to die.
Whoa.
You're
Aggressive.
listening to Dash Talk.
The place where your bullshit beliefs come to die.
I love them.
That's
I like that.
So when you guys start listening to Dash Talk as a station, just everything that's on it.
Dash Talk, the place where conversation and inspiration
Are the main event.
Yes.
You get what I'm saying? Like, you're going to hear these
Dope.
in between shows.
Yo, real talk.
Can't get right, stupid ass was healed listening to Dash Talk.
We got some good ones. I love them.
Yo, real talk. Can't get right, stupid ass was healed listening to Dash Talk.
Oh shit, I love them. Let's see what else we got.
Whole new level.
Go
I love
deeper, speak on it. Say
Uh-oh.
more. I can smoke a bag of that if I smoked.
Y'all talking through them. Y'all gotta listen.
Go deeper, speak on it. Say more. I can smoke a bag of that if I smoked.
That's dope.
Yeah, I like them. I like these drops, man.
You're listening to Dash Talk, your one-stop shop for compelling relationship, political, religious, comedic, economic, current events, and big-time sports game. Biatch!
That's
Yeah,
fire.
I like that shit.
them shits is heated.
Hell yeah.
Oh, I fuck with it. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Voice of Reason. I was just promoting a few things. I got some new shows coming. I'm trying to get Tiff together.
Oh shit,
Yeah,
that's
and
right.
it
That's right.
I appreciate it. I
Tiff.
really appreciate it.
That's
Because
right.
people be coming from my life like, get a show. I'm like, I don't know.
Hey, you better tell
That's
these.
right.
Hey, tell these motherfuckers shows don't grow on trees.
No, I'm being developed.
Motherfuckers gotta
being
earn the
developed.
goddamn show.
Yeah.
Right.
Shit, I'm telling motherfucking Miss Lips the same shit. Like,
My time in.
niggas want a show, you got to develop.
Right.
You understand? This is real radio. This ain't podcast.
Definitely just can't look cute, honey. You gotta be
You
ready.
got to know how to be a radio personality.
Right.
And I'm here to coach. I'm here to teach. I'm here to give all types of motherfucking opportunities. But goddamn it, don't make me get Krishnamurti on your ass.
Which is fire. This book, like, man, I only like have to read 5 pages a day. I be feeling like my whole mind is like blown.
You understand? I love Krishnamurti. You
Me
come.
too.
You're like all the others. You come to me with a begging bowl.
Right.
I love that.
Ladies and gentlemen, I've got this in the house. We're going to current event show. Normally, topic about relationships. You know, we want to talk about, you know, he cheated on me and side bitches and side niggas. And no, today we're going to probe your mind and get your perspective on the crazy shit that's been happening. Number one, can we get this out the way? I really want to know you guys' opinion on Bill Cosby. The verdict.
Oh man.
His
Well,
legacy. I mean, damn. Should the Cosby Show be yanked from the air?
no.
No.
Right? 30 years of silence, and then all of a sudden he's a convicted sex offender.
Crazy.
Is there any culpability on the quote-unquote victim side? Is it a different...
You take it first, me.
So I'm asking questions, and I'm going to throw it to you guys. Is it a different era? I mean, the era he comes from, his own words damned him. You know, in terms of, you know, one of the jurors were basically said we just used his own words against him. I mean, talked about using quaaludes and this, that, and the third. I mean, he even had jokes where he talks about Spanish fly. So from a different generation where, and that's, I mean, and even that's sick.
Right.
If there's a whole generation that thought that was cool to drug a woman to get her, you know, to be more compliant or complicit to have it sex or whatever. So even that's weird, even that's strange, but I mean, I just want to know what women think about this shit. Mimi?
Ooh, first and foremost, I think that he was trying to make a power move and he was going to buy NBC. And I think because of it, they came against him. Now, I do believe he was doing some things, but I don't believe all those things are true. Those women knew the drugs were going to be there. They liked the drugs. Some of those women were dating him. He was putting some through schools. Different things was happening. This wasn't like it happened one day and then you're not calling this fool no more. If you really thought you were offended, you should not been calling him no more. Then you should have said fuck Bill if that's how he was acting. But you continue to have relationships. So I feel like some of these women are just coming forward. There's a movement against. But I also do feel that something was happening, he did make those jokes about it, but that was in a time when that type of thing was happening. You feel me? That's at a time when those people come to those parties, they want drugs. That's like if someone hangs out now and they go to certain celebrities' houses, they know what happens at those parties. You know when you go to that party, you may not be with the business, but you know there's some going on in that motherfucker.
There's some business getting down.
Right.
Ooh.
And if you don't want to be a part of that, then you would disassociate yourself from it. And if it happened to you one time, you wouldn't return a second, third, fourth, fifth time and now complain about it 30 years later. So I just feel like it's a conspiracy in it. Obviously something happened. I don't feel like they should do him like that, and especially since our president can walk around grabbing crotches and doing what he does, but no one says anything about that information. So I really feel some kind of way they're coming against a very powerful black man who has a legacy of being a good father and a role model, and they've taken it and tore him all apart, but only because he was trying to make, in my opinion, a move to buy NBC. And they said, okay, you won't be buying nothing. We're going to destroy you. And that's exactly what they did.
Wow.
And I just hope that there'll be a situation where he can, somehow vindicate himself. I mean, we see what it is, but I just feel like those women are there. They knew why they're there. So you don't have to come back 30 years later just trying to push a man under the bus.
Wow. That's heavy, Mimi. Shit. Miss Lips.
Yeah, I was pretty much devastated when I heard the news, because honestly, I really didn't expect for him to get, I didn't expect him to be guilty or anything. That was a big shocker to me. My time as a comedian, I have seen a lot of male comedians, black and white, misuse their power in the game. Especially they try to come to me. They don't even know me. You know what I'm saying? They don't know my background. They don't know if I bite it off. I'm just saying, these women, I honestly, I don't believe that all this happened, because where's these side babies?
Wow. Well, Bill has a side baby now, don't he?
Yeah. So allegedly.
Okay. All right. Bill does have
I don't
one
think
of
he
them.
did it.
All right. Thank you, Miss Lips. She said bite it off. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to hear from the ladies out in the audience. Call us and let us know what you think about these current events we're covering. Right now, we're covering the Bill Cosby case. The verdict came down, basically said guilty on all 3 counts. Each count holds, 10-year sentence. He's 80. Wow. Rest of your life, basically. Do you think it's a fair verdict? Do you think he should be in? It's 323-230-4610. Donnie Keith.
I am on the fence about Bill. I mean, I know there was conspiracy there, like Mimi said, and I don't think it's just because he was buying NBC. I think it's because Bill likes to point fingers and say what this person isn't doing, that person isn't doing. He's done a lot for colleges. He's done a lot for, like even the girl that got him convicted. She went to Temple University. That's one of his.
Wait a minute. He paid for the education?
He paid for a lot of people's education. Sure did. He even silenced her back in the day with some money, but she was the one that kept pushing the case forward because she felt violated. So I believe that.
So is there any way she can give her education back?
No.
Or the money he paid for the education?
You need to get all that money back.
I believe Bill did something that was out of line. Some things, and everything took place at the Playboy Mansion. All these people, I was at a party at Playboy Mansion, and I woke up and my panties were off, and then I just went home. So it's something.
But that
wrong
happened
with
at
that.
the Playboy Mansion all the time with Hugh Hefner.
Yeah, but the only one they were pointing out was Bill. So I'm like, which blue blood did Bill piss off?
Right.
That's what I'm thinking. Is Bill might have made Ted Turner or one of them names pissed off.
Wow.
You don't know. Not
Wow.
saying Ted is one of them. I don't know. I'm just using
You
his
calling
name
Ted
as
Turner
example.
out? Cool.
I'm just using his name as an example.
It's too late. He called him out. All right. Great.
I'm just saying.
Tiff
But-
Talk. I need to know. What do you think?
Well, can we make this very clear? Bill Cosby doesn't have enough money to actually buy all of NBC. He was going to buy a portion of NBC. So what probably did happen is that other partners, other shareholders in NBC, he pissed off one of them or a president of the board or something like that, and this happened. Because someone did bring it up. people of the time, Quaaludes were used. People knew what was happening at those parties, not saying it's right or not, but many of the same people in his circle have all done the same. Why now? Why him versus all the other people? So that's one thing I want to make very clear. People are talking about how he's making a power move. He was, but he wasn't buying all of NBC. He doesn't have enough money. But two on that whole note is literally white men across the board. They said the dad from, what was it? Not Seventh Heaven.
The Heaven.
Seventh Heaven?
Yeah,
It was
Seventh Heaven was literally convicted of being a child molester. His show is still on the air. He receives residual income from all of those episodes. They never proposed ever pulling that show, one of the longest running shows to date. Considered a Christian show, a 90s Christian show, and the dad of the Christian show is a convicted child molester.
Right.
So, but they're proposing to pull Bill Cosby's show. No, never. But this should be a huge example that people are overlooking of what the racial, the disparity are. There's a huge racial disparity in how we treat black men and white men with money.
Wow.
Kids with power too. Like, come on.
Well, there really isn't mixed kids with power. There's a huge study that shows that mixed kids will actually be black people may not be able to make economic progress because they're so disillusioned and joining basically they perpetuate white supremacy versus taking it away. People will hire mixed kids because they meet the affirmative action quota but won't fight back against injustices. Not all mixed kids, because I roll with a really dope group of mixed kids, but yeah, they're actually mixed kids are perpetuating the issue versus stopping it.
Wow.
Yeah.
This is crazy. Let me ask you this. Oh, shit. Janice Dickinson.
Oh my goodness.
Can I take that first, please?
Sure.
That bitch need to stop. Ain't nobody raped your ass, and if they did, they was high when they did it. Bill drank that shit first, and he was half dead when he raped your ass.
They were all high.
They was
but
high
let me
as
say-
And that's
hell.
the type of parties. That type of party.
But can I say this
You know
real
what I'm
quick?
saying?
A lot of women are going to be upset with you guys.
We don't
That's
care.
why I wasn't chiming in, because it's really hard to be in the industry and go to those parties. And if something happens, that's part of the reason I know. Yeah, there was 50 people who said Bill did what he did, but in those 50, there probably is a few legit people who are like, "Fuck, I wasn't
Yeah.
down for that."
Right.
And that's the issue with society today. The victim does get victimized because okay, it can't be rape just because I went to that kind of party.
Well, no,
Just
that's
'cause I
not
went
what.
to
But
that
that's
kind
not.
of
But that's
party.
not what I'm
Oh, I
saying. I'm
know.
saying if you got raped and you come back again to the same party, you want it. So that's what I'm saying. So let's make it
Wow.
clear
You putting
what I'm
yourself-
saying.
Wow.
Thank you.
That's a good point.
Yeah, you're putting yourself
coming
in
back.
a position of vulnerability by putting yourself in the same situation over and over. It's kind of like, let's take the Tupac situation, in the room. Tupac was in another room with the door closed. His security decided they was going to take her and do what they did to her, but she pointed the finger at Tupac. Bill could have had situations that were similar, but then Bill has a record called where he's talking about Spanish Fly. I have it at my house, and he's talking about smoking weed, Quaaludes, and drugging drunk pussy. I mean, that was his
Wow.
thing, is to take uninhibited drunk pussy. He likes sloppy pussy.
Wow.
So the fact that he did that put him in a position to get accused of shit he might not have done.
Exactly.
Because he did it. But I'm not saying two wrongs make a right. Janice Dickinson just chimed in. I can't say Bill didn't attack her. But if he did, Bill, damn, you should have went to jail for that alone.
Damn.
Right.
So this is like a real convoluted ass case.
Right.
I think the hush money went out. I think he I'm just
Oh,
saying
well,
he
there's
Yeah.
cut these
he coulda
hoes
paid
off, and they stopped getting these checks because maybe Camille, what's her
Camille.
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 Hey, she probably saw some stuff that in the count right,
Camille.
and said, "Hey, what's all this $1 million debt we got? Let's cut these hoes off."
No, Bill was
You want to say her name right?
Camille.
Camille was She knew what it was because every time she got pregnant, she was drowsy. I'm just saying, you know,
Oh.
I couldn't help it. Okay, I couldn't help it.
But you know what? If that's the game, let's say if he did like that, then that's something they probably did together. That's probably how he has a good time. Sometimes people who if that's what was happening, that might be just how it gets down. Like that might turn him on that whole event if that's what's happening. I'm just saying if you're a reoccur, so you're saying somebody molested or touched you and you keep going back to the same place to see the same person, money, you getting college paid for it, and then you want to come back and talk about he drugged me. Goodbye and sell that to somebody else because they're trying to get him.
What do you guys think about the comedian who initially brought this?
Hannibal Buress?
Yeah. What do you guys think about him?
I don't. Okay, I got to choose my words carefully when I say this because I do have a lot of friends that are friends with Hannibal. I don't know Hannibal. I've met him at Bay Area a couple years ago.
But do you see him as responsible for the downfall
I don't
of Bill
respect
Cosby?
what he did. I don't respect him putting Bill out like that. And maybe they paid him to do it because his career has been going great since then.
But some would say that that's a sickness in our community by not reporting. So if he turned it into a joke, which indirectly reported, you get what I'm saying?
I know exactly what he did.
Speak
and
on
it was some, to me, I don't respect what he did because it's Bill Cosby and he's a legacy and as a comedian, but as a woman and a victim of sexual abuse, I think it's a catch-22 situation the way it goes, but I don't respect the way. Okay, that's the word. I don't respect the way he did it.
Are you saying the legacy justifies the silence?
No. I'm saying I don't respect the way he did it.
You don't like snitches.
Basically, I don't like snitches, but as a victim, I understand, but he didn't do it for the victims. He did it to get a joke out of it.
Right.
It wasn't like, oh, I'm going to fight for women's rights. He was like, okay, maybe Bill pissed him off and rubbed him the wrong way one day. And he decided to put Bill on blast. He might have ran up to him, Mr. Cosby, I'm one of your fans, I'm Hannibal. And Bill was like, I don't like your niggerish tone on the, why do you cuss? You know, Bill might have hit him with that. And Hannibal might have been like, fuck Bill, that nigga's taking pussy anyway.
Well, if that's the case, this should have came out when Richard Pryor was alive. Like, come on, Richard Pryor was the only honest comedian that said, hey, I like bullshit. You know, I like men and women. Hey, I tried it. And I did a whole lot of cocaine. And now all these, because yes, we all have darkness. We're comedians. We have darkness. We go through shit.
Darkness, everyone.
Darkness,
But we don't have snitchness.
All right, so Tiff, wrap that point up for me, and then I'm going to move to the next one. Go.
The snitchness. I'm going to say this. The black community does want us not to be snitches. That's why we didn't find out till after MLK was dead that he had side bitches like a motherfucker. Because we as black women are willing to protect our men for the cause. Because we know we have to. Now he's been dead for 40 years and we're like, oh, he had hella bitches. And who hid it for him? Coretta knew. She hid it.
Wow.
Because we protect our black men because we know they're targets.
Oof.
Camille knew. They said she knew.
But to add to that, if something's happening in your household, doesn't mean the world's gonna know. So they may have known the whole time, the inner circle. So just because we just found out, or you or whoever just found out, doesn't mean that they didn't know about this before he died. So this is not new information. She knew what her husband was doing, but it's not anyone else's business. So at the end of the day, find out when the gossip had the next level. Yeah, other than that, that's hush, hush, period. Don't tell your business to the streets.
Wow. Ladies. Heard about Ava DuVernay and Gabrielle Union and all these powerful sisters in the game that are, organizing, you understand, to get these motherfuckers up out of there.
That's right.
Whether it be Harvey Weinstein and motherfucking
Matt Lauer,
all of them, right?
Russell Simmons,
women president.
So let me just say this: whether he was guilty or not, whether the shit was strong enough or not, whether it was a cultural thing back then, whatever the justification is, does this serve as a win or a notice to the rest of these motherfuckers that we coming for you because we got our big fish in Bill?
I say no. I say the white people or Caucasians or
White people different with it. Like,
yeah, like they can get away with more shit. They'll be rubbing pussies tomorrow in the meeting. What did he do? Lose. You didn't see shit. You know what I mean? So at the end of the day, I feel like for the black man, yes, it's a sign that, hey, you may be next. But he was a big enough fish where I think there was still an agenda for him. So we will see what happens with the others. But for him, I feel like there was an agenda. For the others, you know, they might be covered. They might be cool with the powers that be. And so they might get the pass that Trump gets. It depends on how you move it. Are you hitting the right people? Are you doing what the agenda is? Are you, messing with men and you're a man? I mean, what are you doing with this agenda? And I think it depends on what side of the fence you're on and who you're fucking.
323-230-4610. You're listening to the voice of reason. Zoe Williams is in the building. I have a house full of passionate, emotional, powerful, intellectual, and sexy women right here, right now, talking some real shit. The number to dial is 323-230-4610. I want to know your opinion. I want to know, is R. Kelly next?
R. Kelly was the first.
Nah,
Trump should be next.
No. Are they coming for R. Kelly?
They should have years ago, but that's just my opinion. I mean, he likes to Aaliyah, but back to piggyback off of what.
Answer that question.
Okay.
Don't go.
R. Kelly. That's a hard one. I don't know what his skeletons are. So
You didn't see the video where he pissed on the girl?
We saw that video. We saw the piss.
You just named
Aaliyah, but I mean, what can
They
they
just
do
said-
to him?
they
That
just
was
The
a long
difference is
time
those
ago.
are old cases.
You
They
have-
already had those cases. What we need to talk about is the difference was, one, in the legal system, you understand it, they purposely stacked it against Bill. How the juror selection process works, they lost in regards to the jury selection. They picked people who already said they would think that Bill is guilty. How the selection worked, he was guilty before he started. They were actually trying to prove his innocence, right? Two, if you really understand, the human mind is the least credible evidence.
Because it doesn't recognize.
Your memory is fucking convoluted.
Yeah.
I have what's called blackout memory. If I really don't like something traumatizing, it will just disappear. I just won't remember. I have to be hypnotized to remember traumatizing shit. I'll just blank that shit out because I have trauma from a childhood. But in regards to R. Kelly, he doesn't have anybody testifying against him. All those girls that the parents are saying he kidnapped them and he's holding them captive,
Right.
all of them tell their family, I want to be here. I'm not leaving. They're not going to testify against R. Kelly. There's no case.
R. Kelly is
These
pimping.
At this point, these women are over 18 by the time the parents report it. He might have got them before they were 18 or scouted them before they were 18, but they're all over 18 saying they're consensually staying at their own will.
But they're
Can I tell
calling
my
him.
R.
They're
Kelly
calling
story?
him. Hold on. They're calling him a groomer.
Which
He's
he very well
pimping.
may be. But
You guys gonna still play the records?
I'm gonna tell y'all.
Yes.
I'm gonna tell you a brief story. In 1993, I was approached by R. Kelly and his cousin because I used to go to Julian High School in Chicago, Illinois, and I had told them, and me and my cousin told them that we wasn't gonna get in this car. Let me tell you, women, you have the right to say no. That means no. Okay, don't say no and take. Don't say no and then get an abortion. Don't say no and get hush money. Just say fucking no. It mean no. Like,
Right.
you can't say you're a victim when your legs was open.
And you had dollars in
And
your
you
hand.
came.
And you came back.
Oh shit! The number to
And you're
dial.
soaking wet.
Jesus, the number to dial is 323-3610. The millionaires are in
Drip,
this
drip, drip.
motherfucker right now. Shit is getting laid out. Shit is getting laid
The
out.
problem with R. Kelly is R. Kelly has to have women around him that are young. And he don't care what your mama say, your auntie say. I mean, he's around Chicago's like pimping central. You got Bishop Don Juan and all these other pimps and Pretty Tony and all these guys, and they have that mentality. So
Chicago has a
it's a whole nother mentality. It's like an Oakland mentality. So I think
Right.
R. Kelly's just doing R. Kelly right now.
Wow.
I'm just going to say this, though. I feel like they tested the waters and they tried to get Kelly, and it wasn't big enough. People didn't care enough. I
Right.
think society gave R. Kelly a pass, not us. And then when Bill became an opportunity, they took him. The white people are choosing who they want to fuck over and make an example. And apparently
Right.
people didn't give a fuck enough about R. Kelly's situation a few years ago. You know what I'm
Kelly-
saying? To actually, like, even if they put him on trial, like, people just, you know, they were still buying his albums.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? Like, he could drop an album today and people would buy it, but it wouldn't necessarily ruffle news. You know what I'm saying? Bill Cosby was enough where they're like, yeah, this gonna shut some shit down.
Yeah, we need to distract America right now with Bill.
Exactly.
Wow.
But somebody got the missile launch.
Matt Lauer.
Keywords. Yeah, right.
He pissed the wrong motherfucker off is what he did. The wrong person who said, watch this. That's what he did. Because at the end of the day, R. Kelly's a black man, and any black man is under fire. So I don't care what you do. If you black, you could be getting you some Skittles, and they fucking with you. So if R. Kelly is pissing and it's on tape, believe me, they want to fuck with you. But, you know, the powers aren't mad at R. Kelly, and like you said, they're not coming to court, the women, and they love R. Kelly. R. Kelly is a sexy black man, so you know he got paper, he's singing and shit. They like, shit, I ain't trying to leave all this shit.
So the consensus in this room, R. Kelly's off the hook.
R. Kelly's illiterate, not articulate. He is not Bill Cosby.
Excuse me?
Wow.
He is not Bill Cosby.
That
Bill
man is a
Cosby,
genius.
people listen to Bill Cosby. R. Kelly sings. Bill Cosby changes
He writes.
minds.
He writes.
Why not distract the world with somebody like Bill Cosby, especially if he did do something to few people? Why not distract the world with a Matt Lauer or Louis C.K.? Who else? Russell Simmons. We need to distract the news from what's really going on when we got, like Mimi said, a pussy grabber making decisions about our lives in America right now.
So justice in America is black and white.
Yes, it is, because
yes.
the president should be under fire too.
Let me tell you about this George Washington bill here, okay?
Uh-oh.
In this mouth, and you don't see his mouth open, in this bill, this motherfucker got slave teeth in his mouth, okay?
Them brown wooden teeth?
Yes. And to this day, they don't think that's slave's teeth. You understand me? So they've been taking for us for forever. Look, they can't even show this nigga mouth, okay? He can't even say cheese.
But he on the cheese though. He on that bread and that cheese.
Oh God.
These motherfuckers.
This lips is wild.
But I feel her on that one.
All right, so look, ladies and gentlemen, you're listening to the voice of reason on Dash Talk. The ladies are heated. This is their first fucking current event show, and they're tearing through the current events. The phone lines are open. The number to dial is 323-230-4610. That's 323-230-4610. Let me shout out our live stream. We're going live to my 35,000 subscribers on YouTube right now. They're in the chat room.
That's
chat
right.
room, say what's up to everybody. Oh, you can't say nothing. You can just type it, and then I can tell people what you're saying. Okay, cool. Say what's up. I'm going to shout you out. Hey, don't forget to hit the like button. Everybody should do it at once so we could have that impact so this thing can end. Please, please, please hit the like button and the share button, and don't fall off on that super chat button. The super chat button is the $sign at the bottom of the chat room. Hit it early and often. Let's keep it popping. Current events with the ladies. I love the fire in the room. 323-230-4610. I'm Zoe Williams, the voice of reason. Caller, you're on the line. What's your name and where you calling from?
Okay.
Speak on it.
Hello?
Yeah,
Hello?
You're on the line. Hello. Hell is
Oh,
low.
this is Zoe. Hi,
Yes,
Zoe. We have
hey.
two people on the line right now.
What's up, baby girl? Talk to me.
How y'all doing? You know what? You have two people on the line right now.
But only you are on the line with us.
Oh, okay. Well, good afternoon, everyone. This is Dr. Keisha Sumner. I'm so delighted. I sort of just called in, been trying to get in, but you guys are talking about such an exciting topic with sexual violence and black women. And
Let's go. Let's
Bill
get
Cosby
it. Come
and all
on,
of
baby
that.
girl. Let's get it, Doc.
Well, here's the thing. There are a lot of national statistics on sexual coercion and sexual violence, and I know many of the victims of or people who report assault from Bill Cosby were not African American, but I think it's important that we consider people's developmental stage when they are being coerced or invited
All right, so
and
do me
to really
do me a favor
build
really
a
quickly.
situation.
Do me a
Uh-huh.
favor really quickly. For our listening audience, give a technical definition for sexual coercion.
Any type of sexual contact that is unwanted, that is rebuffed, that creates circumstances when a person feels intimidated to do things that they really don't feel comfortable with because there's a power dynamic and they don't feel comfortable saying no.
Speak about the power
Right.
dynamic.
Right. So if you have someone with much more life experience, they know how to create a situation in which a very naive person just simply cannot see the dangers. They can lure them into. I mean, we see this sometimes with you know, with the priests and the Catholic Church abuse. So there is a premise that there is trust there, right? There's this authority figure or even someone in a position of power and public trust and regard. And so a person tends to reduce their guardedness and give trust, and they find themselves in a situation that's quite disorienting. It's very disorienting. And I will say that sexual assault and racism are both tools of oppression.
Wow.
Right.
Wow. I want to go.
About 40% of African American women have reported coercive sexual contact by the age of 18.
Right.
And for this is data coming from the compiled by national statistics on the End Sexual Violence network, and I invite your listeners to go and look up some of this information.
Right.
But for every African American woman who reports rape, there's at least 15
that
who
don't
never report.
underreported.
Right.
That's so they're going to be blamed.
Right.
So part of this, you know, I'm not really. I know people have really strong feelings about the Bill Cosby situation because he's African American. I get that the justice system has really been cruel and corrupt and inhumane as it relates to African American men. I have to tell you personally, I was really hurt when he went on his tour of denigrating poor black people a number of years ago.
Right.
And
Right.
I know he's done a lot of good things in terms of education, but to go to Bill O'Reilly to denigrate poor black people, it was just really hurtful for me. So this particular conversation about his allegations, I'm less invested in as opposed to some other community. My is really with the victims, and especially those who are African American women, because we don't have a place to turn to in those situations.
So listen, I want to probe you with questions.
Yes.
Deeper.
Because she's on it.
Because she's really on it.
Right.
Okay, so we understand the stats out there. You know, a lot of women are not reporting, right? They're not reporting sexual abuse. They're not reporting domestic violence. They're not reporting a lot of things, right?
Right.
But what about those, and we talk about this on the show all the time, that use the gray area, that understand that they can leverage the thirstiness of a motherfucker like Bill Cosby to try to advance their career? What about those who are complicit in the game, don't get what they want, then go back into victimhood mode? Is that a possibility? Can you talk to me about that?
So that happens, and we know that happens. Not only does it happen historically, it has happened quite a bit. It's a way of people trying to reclaim some kind of sense of power. A lot of these people, they have deep emotional issues, and they're in a situation where they can exploit another person. And I think especially because our black men have been exploited and set up by corrupt law enforcement so often. Listen, this is personal to me. My father was falsely accused of something like this. Thank goodness he was exonerated. This stuff, I get the system, how it just sort of is waiting for black men, you know, and people are making money of the prison system and all of this stuff. But one of the things we know is if you look at child sexual abuse, it's about 1 in 3 women who experience child sexual abuse. So if you just look around the room, chances are, out of all the women on this show, somebody among us, we've experienced child sexual abuse. 1 in 4 for men, and we think those are conservative estimates.
Wow.
Oh, they are definitely conservative estimates.
Wow.
And once that happens, so it's the person up for being re-victimized later on
Right.
right? So because you just don't know how to read, where it happens in a person's developmental stage, it sort of disrupts their development, not only biologically, but also emotionally.
Right.
Okay? So then they have poor decision-making skills. They never really address the trauma, and they find themselves in very, very dangerous situations all over again.
Right.
Wow.
So, and if you look at the HIV literature, if you look at even some of the other medical conditions, what you're going to see is that there is a high percentage of people who have histories of trauma that's never been addressed. So from the outside, we say, why is this person making poor decisions? Why would they place themselves in that situation? Why are they doing this? Why are they being reckless? Oftentimes, those individuals have out trying to survive, but they unknowingly place themselves in poor situations. And I will say even people who don't have trauma histories can find themselves in poor situations where they're preyed upon. So, and especially Black women, because there is no place for a lot of Black women to turn to. Don't trust law enforcement. We're very protective over what goes on in our community, as well we should be. But where is there a space in our community where people will say, you know what? This happened to this person, and I'm going to stand with this person. I'm not going to say the little girl was fast, and that's why she was molested by Uncle such and such. She was fast. I'm going to stand with this person, and I'm going to believe them. One of the things we know from the research is one of the biggest predictors of long-term psychological outcomes for people with histories of child sexual abuse is that did they tell anybody? Oftentimes they don't. And then if they did anybody believe them?
Right.
Exactly.
Wow. It's the biggest
that part.
They didn't have one. So one of the first things I always ask people is, did you tell? And if you did, what was their response? And that tells me that's very predictive on how well they did it. Because just because it happened to you doesn't mean that you're going to have psychological problems long term.
What happens when? What happens?
Of that is that I look at.
Okay, you got time. I'm with you. I'm rocking with you right now. You got time. We gonna roll. Just slow down. We together. You shouldn't have called in this motherfucker. I'm gonna hold on to you now. I got questions. What happens when the abuser or the groomer or the madam or the pimp is that person's parent, a mother?
A father.
Stockholm.
No, I know a girl whose mama did it.
No, I know a few. My brother was pimped by my aunt at 5 years old.
I need to know.
That's how he ended up in child services.
Like, how do you heal that heart? How does one? You know what I'm saying? How does one discover? Because as a child, and you know this, you probably can, back everything I'm about to say up. As a child, your identity is like, an egg whose shell is still soft, is still forming, right? And it's forming from that environment that you're in. So whatever love, nurturing, respect, honor, integrity, whatever you're getting out of that household or the lack thereof, that shit goes into the formation of your identity. It hardens as you get older. So my question to you is, how does a person who has experienced that type of shit, like, break out of that fucking identity? How do they break out of it? How do they come out of that? How do they heal from that? Can you speak on it?
So oftentimes, people don't know when it comes from a family member or when you look in your environment and people are turning a blind eye to what's going on, you may not know that it's something wrong because that's like normal. You look to your environment and you're seeing, is anybody like saying, if you notice when a child falls, what's the first thing they do when they fall? They look up.
They look up. Who's there? Yeah. Who's here?
And they want to see your facial expression, and your facial expression tells them, how to respond. Should I respond in crisis, or is this okay? And so that's what happens to these people. So sometimes I've seen people, and they really didn't even know that it was abuse or rape. Sometimes the body betrays them, and their body had a physiological response that made them think they enjoyed it.
Wow. In other words, don't have an orgasm while somebody's abusing you.
That's actually really common and one of the
Because-
reasons people
'cause
don't
you-
report.
Right, you're really going to be confused about that. Is that what you guys are telling me?
But it's actually normal.
Yes.
Little boys get erections when they're in their mother's womb. Babies are very sensitive to that's a physiological reaction, but it's very disorienting to the person that it's happening.
That was disturbing.
I'm just telling you the truth.
We all eat our mama pussy when we come out.
Oh, Lord.
Oh, I hope I did.
Taste. My bad.
So anyway, Joe, I appreciate you letting me call
Wow,
in
yeah.
today.
Let's get you out of here before something else is said.
He said it, erection shit.
We appreciate the information. We appreciate all the knowledge you share. You were a great caller. Let me tell you, you can call in anytime, damn it. Where am I? What am I? 3 days a week?
Yeah.
Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 5 to 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. I need to hear from you. The number to dial is 323-230-4610. Get at me.
Hey, Zoe, she said some real
She
stuff.
dropped some bombs.
She took me back to when I was a kid. I had a situation with my grandfather's like his nephew or whatever. He came from St. Louis. He lived with us, and they had him babysitting me all the time. So he fed me, did homework, and he would put me on his lap and kind of like, I guess, get him a little nut or whatever. And so this went on for a long, long time. Remember, he's the one babysitting me. So then I tell my mom one day, but by phone because she's nowhere around. And so by phone, I tell her what's happening because one day I bled from the situation. And she said that I was misunderstanding what was happening and that he would never do that to you. And that, you know what I'm saying, that's not how our family is, and kind of like dismissed me from it. So, and then guess what happened then? He continued to do it. No one addressed him. He continued to do it like it was like the way I was living. It was really crazy, like on some real shit, really a crazy situation. Because when I finally decided to tell, no one even thought that that was real information.
Right.
Wow. And so we've done shows similar to this where, I did a show years ago called Who Rapes the Rapist?
Right.
And basically, and Tiff, maybe you can expound on this. Rape isn't about the sex.
No.
It's a power movement.
Yes.
So would you then say the women that are mobilizing against these abusers, these motherfuckers, it ain't even really about what they may have been complicit in participating in.
Right.
This might be their time to say we're going to take power back.
Yes and no.
We're going to use the system to take power back.
Yes, it's clear that they're trying to not even necessarily take power back, but to neutralize it.
Right.
Again, and I think that's
nice.
what people are not understanding. It's not like, oh, now women want to dominate. They want to take the reins. No, like, whenever have we been equal since Europeans have hit North America? Women have not been equal, period, since we hit here. That's where name changes came from, right? Like, to show ownership, like, this white woman is my white woman. Like, so there's never been equality when it came to men and women in regards to European Western culture in the United States. So it's not that we're trying to take it. We're just trying to neutralize it. Like, hey, stop historically and generationally raping bitches.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because, yeah, it's been going on forever.
Right.
Yeah, look
This
at
is
Amber
great.
But she did say a really good point in regards to the developmental stage. Most people who have experienced their first time was before 25. And as we know, your brain isn't fully developed. In trauma, there's a lot of studies and research that will show trauma slows or inhibits the development of your prefrontal cortex, which is the place where you can forecast and further thinking and make, good judgment. So if you're slowing that down, then yeah, your ability to recognize like this is rape or don't go back to that party or this or whatever, that's why those women sometimes make those decisions, because now my actual brain development is stunted.
But when we talk about super sexual predators and super sexual abusers, the default image of that becomes a man. But we also have to acknowledge...
Oh, no, there's
Women,
sexual women predators. Yeah,
Yes.
female predators.
Yes, because here's the problem with America. America is a black and white thinking country. We don't think in context. We think in sides.
Right.
I heard this, one of my friends was doing a Facebook video and she was talking about the patriarchal mentality. And it's like, wait a minute. Wherever there is imbalance in your life,
Yes.
it represents a flaw.
Right.
Okay? Men don't do shit in a vacuum.
Right.
You under dig? Like, we don't. And yes, men have abused power. And yes, men have abused women. And yes, men have done a lot of shit. But that's some men, not all men.
That's right.
Right?
And often not alone.
And often, exactly.
Like in regards to Vince.
And wait, and then flip it. We talking about men, but the same I just described also applies to some women.
Yeah.
So we have to keep that, that in context as well.
Well, she said coercion, and I think that's what people don't realize, especially here in Hollywood. Coercion is when you don't feel like in a safe space to speak out, basically. Wow. Right? It might not be like they, because it always comes up in regards to women. Women say they were forced to give or coerced to give head. People are like, nah, just bite it off. But when you feel like you're in a position where the consequence to saying no is greater than your consequence to just doing it, though you don't want to, that's coercion. And that happens with women all the time in Hollywood.
Please, okay, please, hold on.
Contradiction.
I need to understand that.
Right.
Yeah.
I need to really understand. I'm a pretty smart
that's a
motherfucker,
contradiction.
but I need to understand that.
Yeah.
So, correct me, Tiffany. This is for you. Correct me. I'm coercing you to perform fellatio on me. You don't really want to do it, but you're gonna do it because you feel pressure to do it, because end result means you're going to get what you want.
No, the better example is I'm a kid in college basketball and it's my coach. And this is my senior year and I'm getting recruited. And if I don't suck your dick, I get benched and I no longer, now my possible future career for the rest of my life is over.
Okay, stop.
Isn't that what
I don't
you
know.
just said?
Wait a minute. I don't
Right?
think. Yeah.
So
I don't-
Contradiction.
Well, yes.
Listen,
If you
no.
take the money, that's a contradiction.
No,
Wait.
listen,
Hold on.
because
hold
this
on.
happens
wait,
a
wait,
lot.
Wait. Hold on.
Right.
Hold on. Let me address that. I'm not saying that scenario hasn't happened somewhere.
Right.
Like, for instance, you can go Penn State
Right.
with Joe Paterno and Sandusky and all of those guys. But I don't see that as something that happens as much as what happens in Hollywood.
Right.
You understand? I see that as like an anomaly. Like, and I'm not saying it is. I'm not saying that it is an anomaly. I'm just saying, like, the whole basketball concept of the coach saying, like, hey, you got to suck my dick in order to go to college. I just
No,
don't
but that's
see
the
that.
thing. That's where coercion comes from. It's implied more from the victim than coerced by the actual person in power. That's the issue with the dynamic. Is the person in power almost never actually explicitly says a threat.
Exactly.
It's perceived by the person who is part of the. That's the
Oh, this is
psychological
good.
difficulty.
Okay, now I'm seeing it. The perception of the victim defines the coercion.
Well, that defines the power dynamic. If it's my uncle and it's me and I'm 12, my uncle has more elderly position in my family. If I tell on him because he's an adult, they might believe him more because kids lie all the time. It's the perceived power dynamic person who is being abused, always.
But the threw me off was the predator doesn't necessarily directly say to do something.
Well, they'll say like, ooh, come suck this or rub this, but the threat is never, almost
Wait a
rarely,
minute.
the
Hold
threat
on.
is never actually explicitly said. It's rarely said by the predator, like, if you don't do this, will happen. No. But
That's why I
it's
want you to. That's why I want you to come back. That's why I'm
Yeah.
trying to lead you, because everybody's listening right now.
Absolutely.
Everybody's listening right now to Dash Talk. This shit is on fire right now. The voice of reason. The ladies are breaking it all the way to motherfuck down. You gonna get a bar listening to this show right now. The number to dial is 323-230-4610. Let me go back. Rub this. See, I listen. I was always a brilliant child. You couldn't ask me to do shit
Thank you.
because I understood shit.
Right.
child developmentally was everywhere
I
you are,
understand.
though.
No, I get it. I'm not putting every child there. Shit. But I know there are children beyond me.
Exactly.
And I know there's children behind me. in
Amen.
development. So I give credence to what you're saying. But me as a child,
Right.
a motherfucker could never, you couldn't say, come wash my feet. You couldn't say nothing to me. Rub my shoulders. You couldn't say nothing because I would be like, fuck is you talking about?
Right.
And I'm saying, this is me at 5'6".
Yeah.
Like, the fuck is you talking about?
Right?
But I understand what she's saying.
No, I get what she's saying. What I'm saying is, here's the thing. Perception can be a liar.
right.
Absolutely.
And so if the burden of the evidence lies in the perception of the victim, somebody can go to jail on an assumption. That's what I'm saying.
Right.
That's what I'm trying to outline right here. That's why I'm asking for clarity and better scenarios where I can wrap my head around, oh, that's real. But to say, come over here and rub my chest, nigga, who is you talking to?
Yeah, look at the power.
I'm the nigga who threw rocks at Big Mama.
Oh yeah, that's right.
But yeah, I was like, in general, you're just a different kind of person. But the reality
Beat
is,
up a blind
especially
man.
in the Black community, especially like we said, there's a lot of people who experienced it just like Mimi. I'm a former high school social worker, a former teen clinic social worker, where I was hearing over 3,000 reports per year. And of those 3,000, even with my support, understanding, walking into sheriff's departments, being there, holding their hand while they give their testimony, of over 11,000 reports, I got 2 girls to go to the police.
Wow.
And again,
Wow.
I'm neutral. I said, baby girl, I know why you don't want to go. I support that.
Right.
If you want to go, I'll be right there with you. Hold your hand. And one of the girls was a legit rape. She was pulled into an alley, pants down, raped by a dude that she had met at the party like 2 hours before. Like, she knew who it was, but it was a legitimate rape. There was a knife involved, and she still was like, no.
Wow.
Because we know what society does to girls. Why were you at that party? Why were you walking by yourself?
The victim gets
all
judged.
that shit.
Yes, the victim gets judged.
So in all those reports,
Wow.
but a lot of it, most of them
How
were
were you
coercion.
dressed?
How were you dressed? Why were you out late? You're underage. It's past curfew. All of that shit to say, oh, but he had a knife to me and fucking raped me in the alley.
Wow.
And
you know?
Then there's the brothers that are not, they're accused of coercion when they're not. My brother had to register as a sexual offender until last year when he had that shit expunged from his record because some girl decided to suck his dick in the bathroom while he was in the bathroom and then cried rape because he never called her back and embarrassed her. So she was white. My brother was black. It's Culver City.
Yeah, it's over, nigga. It's over.
His life has been an uphill battle.
You can't even get a job with that shit.
He keeps getting violated.
Yeah.
He got violated for 20 years. I'm talking about some shit I know about. Then you take a situation to where my mother had a boyfriend who decided he wanted to walk in the bathroom every time I'm in there. I'm 12 years old. I'm in a developmental stage where my breasts are protruding. I'm getting pubic hair. This nigga's looking at me. Then he's telling me I can't go shopping with them. And that's when he tried to do something, tried to stick his hand down my pants. But I'm a fighter. So it was a fight over that Christmas tree that night. My mother comes home. The house is in disarray. She like, Donnie, what happened? And he told me, I'm going to kill your mama if you tell her. So I snuck in my mother's room in the middle of the night and called my dad on the phone and said, come get me. I don't want to be here. My dad was there before 9 a.m. the next morning from Houston to Seattle. Took me and my brother.
That's some great father shit.
And I never told my dad or my mom what that nigga did until I was grown.
Oh, shit. Well,
Because
maybe
I
you
was
should've-
just trying. I never wanted to. I was like what Tiff said, it's a point where you black the shit. I didn't black it out. I mean, I'm from, I'm like you, Zoe. I wasn't a stupid kid. I knew what it was. That's why I called my daddy.
I be
This
like,
nigga's
what?
about to fuck me. I'm gonna call my daddy, and I'm a 12-year-old. I'm playing with Barbies barely still. I'm trying to get out that phase.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're listening to the voice of reason. This shit is turned up. The ladies are delivering. Lord have mercy, Jesus. Hold it. I don't even know if that's speaking in. I don't know what that is. But tonight's topic is heavy. It's current events. The ladies are weighing in on everything. They've been talking about Bill Cosby. They've been talking about sexual abuse. They've been talking about R. Kelly. How many of you guys still listen to R. Kelly?
I do. I did this morning.
I pee every time though.
That honey love gets you right, baby.
Ladies and gentlemen, the phone lines are wide open. The number to dial is 323-230-4610. Before we get to the next topic, I'm going to take a couple callers. Caller, you're on the line. What's your name and where you calling from? Speak on it.
Yeah, man, this is Jay, Sweet Willie Jack. I'm from
Baton Rouge, Louisiana.
Nigga, you got 17 names. Say your first name.
Jay.
Jay, there we go. What's happening, man?
Yeah, man. Man, what's up, bro? Man, I just wanted to call in and talk about what y'all been on. You know what I'm saying? Man, I agree with some of the stuff the ladies were saying. You know what I'm saying? I think that Bill should be, prosecuted for what he's done in the past, but I also have a problem with the fact that they went back so many years on this man, and they not doing it to people like Harvey Weinstein and other white people. I hate to say it, but white men like that that's doing way more horrible things than Bill has done, in my opinion. And as far as R. Kelly, he was prosecuted for what he's done, and he was found innocent. And in the cases of what he's doing now, most of the ladies, are above 18, and regardless of the fact that people say, man, he may have gotten them when they were 16, we don't know that. You know what I'm saying? But as far as now, they're over 18, and I don't think that we should, be getting into that, if he's doing that, and they underage, then yeah, he should get prosecuted for it. But if they over 18, there's nothing we can do.
Well, thank you, man. I appreciate the call.
All right, thank you, man.
Yeah. Wow. People are calling in. They're chiming in. Ladies, we want to hear from you. The number to dial is 323-230-4610. You're listening to the Voice of Reason. I am he. In studio, we have Tiff Ram, Donnie Keith, a.k.a. Peaches, Miss Lips, and of course, Mimi, a.k.a. Michelle Dukes, keeping it real. Dinner motherfucking ladies in the building, sharing some real talk.
Yes.
Now, I've got to ask you guys about this Issa Rae thing. Can we just, okay. Issa Rae. Awkward Black Girl. Wow. She wrote a book, The Misadventures of Awkward Black Girl.
But this is actually an old book, correct?
Yeah, 3 years old.
Yeah. And it's like what the freaking show is about, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Insecure.
Right. So she said something, and let me just say, the sisters who support the sister, right, this woman, are saying, oh, this is satirical. This is not, But comedy is born, real good comedy is born from truth. From a real place, from a truthful place. And, this, although it may be a joke, it might be born from a cultural thing with her, because she's not African American.
That's right. She's African, yes.
Oh, okay.
She's African.
Yep.
Yeah. Is she Nigerian, or what is she?
Yeah, this is like American and Nigerian or something like that. Okay. So, again, a African has a country that can support them.
Yep.
Right.
Has a culture that can support them.
A strong culture. Hers
right.
Is a strong
So
culture.
we have to be clear. Like, in America likes to pimp.
Mm-hmm.
So here's the pimp by positioning themselves as if they're doing right by African Americans, but when they're really doing right by people who have different descendancy, from Africa or from Europe or from, say, Jamaica.
Right.
So to speak. So watch this. Harvard put out that paperwork that basically said, our attendance for blacks is up 14%. But when you get into that,
what blacks are you? You're not talking about a nigga from Richmond, from Compton, from Baltimore. Talking about Nigerians. You talking about motherfuckers who come, a parent that is. You get what I'm saying? Maybe a second generation Nigerian who lost their accent because they went to school here, that were raised here, but really culturally are somebody else. This is the Obama effect.
The non-descendants of slaves. You sound like
The
Tone Talks now.
non-descendants of slaves. So again, this satire might come from that side of her conditioning.
Right.
It has to.
So what she said was, this is why I propose that black women and Asian men join forces in love, marriage, and procreation. Educated black women, what better intellectual match for you than Asian men?
Which is
Hold on. And I'm not talking about Filipinos. They're like the blacks of Asians. Now, people say black people can't be racist. But what she said was damn show prejudice.
Very prejudiced.
Right? So let me read something else because there are black women who are caping for her.
Caping? Why would we? I mean, go ahead.
Saving
I'm going to save my comments.
But
Continue.
you know, and I want to know what you guys think. And I don't really have a dog in this fight. I don't even watch the show.
Because you're not worried about Prima freaking marrying no Asian man.
Yeah, I don't, you know, I could give two shakes of a fat rat's ass about this whole discussion. But it's been all over the place, and I think, you know, it's fair game for discussion. So somebody sent me this Twitter, or this not Twitter, but Instagram response.
Okay.
And basically she says, I've been actively practicing the art form of shut the fuck up and minding my business for both personal and practical reasons, particularly writing a book in a timely fashion and responding to every news story. Basically, she took, I guess, a post from Issa Rae, right? I guess I'm assuming, and practically writing a book in a timely fashion and responding to every news story just can't be done. And personally, I'm living my best life offline, but I made time today. Folks have lost their goddamn minds coming for Issa. No, this is her. This is this girl coming for Issa Rae over this black woman, Asian men thing. First and foremost, black women do not owe black men loyalty. Wow, that's first. Okay, so
that is a bold ass statement.
So that's a powerful statement.
Wow.
So let me just stop for a second. Out of all the races, the race that stays together the most is black men and women. So to come with a counter narrative, like from another universe, like the multiverse.
The multiverse.
There's another universe somewhere where black women and black men don't owe each other loyalty. But in this one, the numbers bear out some different shit. We fuck with each other more than any other race does. Okay, so maybe she didn't know about that. So
she probably didn't.
Okay, so let me just go back. Black women do not owe black men loyalty. And before I even move on, what the fuck kind of concept is that? Where the fuck does that come from?
Oh, I'll tell you, but we'll get there.
I can tell you too.
Can we even just question the origin of that? Ladies, tell me right now.
Psychological. I just had this conversation with Malaya yesterday, actually.
Yeah.
Like psychologically, you look in the mirror and you see yourself. And if you are self-actualized and you love self, you're naturally going to be attracted to something that looks like self. So if I'm a loving, proud black woman and I look in the mirror or the water or wherever the cultural context is that you see reflection of self and you live in a healthy black community, you naturally psychologically are attracted to what you come accustomed to. So and what you feel safe with. So naturally, psychologically, we have mirror neurons. We learn from what we see first as children. You're going to love black men if you're a proud, self-loving black woman. It's actually counter your healthy psychological health to not like what you are. It's body dysmorphic syndrome. If you look in the mirror and you see something other than what is the truth, that's where anorexia comes from, right? I think I'm fat. Bitch, you is bones.
Wow.
Let me tell you.
That's a good point. No, Mimi, then Donnie Keith, then my girl, Miss Lips.
Well, Africans and Nigerians, they don't necessarily like black Americans or African Americans, okay? So there's a conspiracy, first of all.
Wait. Just one point before you finish that, Mimi, I'm coming right back to you. Africans don't fuck with Africans.
Right. And they don't, right.
So let alone just not fucking with us.
Right.
They don't fuck with Africans.
Right, and Nigerians don't fuck with other ones in different tribes. So different tribes don't mess with the other tribes. So there's a big conspiracy, in this organization, basically. So nobody's fucking with nobody, but they really not fucking with, they call us Yankees, okay? People, the ones that are against us call us Yankees. So in my opinion, she comes from a standpoint that she doesn't respect black men, but she don't even not only disrespect the black men, she's disrespecting the black women because she's showing black women how to treat their king unlike a king, which is destroying our black community in a sense. So to me, she's doing a deprogramming because she respects her king in Nigeria or whatever tribe he's from, okay? And she's saying respect Filipinos and this one and that one, but yet don't respect the black man. That is a program to destroy our community.
Because
Go
I
ahead.
feel like those, especially Nigerian and Liberian,
Oh.
have been successfully colonized. My apologies. I didn't see you point because you're right
It's all
there
good, babe. Go ahead.
in my peripheral.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So this is my opinion. I think Issa Rae said that, and the women I hear say shit like that, I think these bitches have a complex. I hate to call them that. I think you have a complex because you want your baby to come out with good hair. You know, to date in your own, or you've been hurt by your own, or you've been dogged out by so many black men, or you don't feel beautiful enough to attract the black men you're attracted to. She might be attracted to them Chico DeBarge looking niggas. You know, I'm just saying this bitch might want a pretty haired Jackson boyfriend. I don't know what you like, but it's apparent whenever you say any other race is more beautiful than a black man. Right. And you a black woman, because I'm going to be attracted to my black man first. All the other shit comes last. Right. And an Asian, I mean, you know, so that's letting me know that's about making a mixed child.
I asked this question now. Let me just ask this question. Did you guys feel at least a twinge when you read that book? If anybody read that little passage or anybody read that book in here?
I did not read her.
Did you feel a twinge, like, or when it came out, did you feel like, oh shit, that's kind of fucked up?
I didn't read the book, even though I feel like I identify as an awkward black girl, but I just didn't feel compelled to read it.
I don't feel compelled to watch the show, and I'm really not going to watch it now.
But this is what I'm saying.
But yeah, and that statement when I read it, because I did just see it, yesterday or earlier today, I kind of did just roll my eyes because, again, as a self-actualized black woman, like, I'm not really attracted to anything but black men. I used to be when I was young, like, because that's all that was available because I was raised, in an all-white community. But, like, as I got access to amazing black men, I was like, what else do I want?
But this is what I'm saying. Like, we're going into an era in this country where, everything is trans this or trans that. There's trans color. There's transgender, there's trans dumb, there's trans smart, there's trans fat. I mean, everything is like morphed into some shit and nobody knows what the fuck they are anymore. And I think it's problematic because at the end of the day, black men, even though there are some black men that have been disrespectful, condescending, abusive. And I count myself among those niggas. I've been in a bad space with women before. I'm just saying, at the end of the motherfucking day, throughout all the drama and bullshit that I have seen and encountered in my life, black people tend to still fuck with black people.
That's true.
So now we're coming into this concept where black people view each other as disposable. Right. Black women need to start giving up on black men. You got a better chance with some white man, or you got a better chance with an Asian man, even if it's a joke. Like, not funny. You get what I'm saying? Like, sometimes motherfuckers say real hurt, like, this is the shit you believe in, and then try to hide under some kind of excuse to say it. Sometimes comedians do. Like, oh, you're bombing. You're gonna find the audience are, insulting. Right. Oh, so the insult helps you get back in good with the audience. Right. That's because you're not good in the moment.
Right.
You don't know how to bomb, so you start insulting, and then you turn that into, oh, well, I'm a comedian.
Not okay.
No, motherfucker, you're doing bad tonight.
Right.
Bomb off stage.
Right.
You get what I'm saying?
Bomb in a bad bedroom.
Or, and we'll get to this later, the Kanye situation. Oh, gosh. We're going to cover Kanye. Ladies and gentlemen, the voice of reason is lit right now. I'm just saying, like, sometimes you write some shit from your culture, from your perspective, And if we're really paying attention to it, because you've heard motherfuckers say shit that you go, as comedians especially, that shit ain't funny.
Right.
That shit's too far.
Yeah.
Right? But sign off on this. Let me tell you, dude, that I find problematic. That men don't do. Phil, get on the goddamn mic. Phil, get that mic, man. We done had this conversation before, goddammit. We done had this motherfucking conversation before.
Okay.
Fugazi ass nigga in the crew.
Okay.
Lying ass nigga in the crew. Disrespectful ass nigga in the crew. Thieving nigga in the crew. In does that get to kick it?
Nah.
Even if that nigga don't mean no harm and whatever, do that nigga get to kick it?
Nah.
That nigga's not
Gotta
part
let
of
him
the
go.
crew. That nigga's not part of how we get out. But what I find, women, y'all circle the wagons around your bad apples.
We're phony.
Yeah.
Y'all circle. Listen, is Issa Rae any different from Rachel Dolezal?
Or Omarosa?
I'm just saying.
Omarosa?
No. This is what I mean by that. Follow me here. This is what I mean by that. Rachel Dolezal went to Howard University, but she was white when she went there because the subsidies supported the white Rachel Dolezal, not the trans racial Dolezal.
Right.
Do you get what I'm saying?
Right.
So, boom. She was white when it benefited her. Can pull the same card. She can be Nigerian when it benefits her. Nigga, all you can be is Compton, Oakland,
LA.
Richmond, Vallejo, LA. That's all you can be, African American. But you tend to support somebody who's real so cool. And I'm saying the wagons around those type of people. What do you about that?
I think we need to travel. Like, Jews travel for free. Go
What?
see about they see about their birthrights. Oh,
They travel for free? Who
for
told
free.
you that?
No, baby, go on birthrights.com. Jews, they travel for free to Israel for free.
I didn't know that.
Yes,
Yeah,
they
it's true.
do, because I'm Jewish. I have Jewish blood in me. I got my ancestry.com test results,
My
and I'm
nigga.
Nigerian, and I'm Jewish.
Did they let you fly?
I'm waiting on my check now. I got my Hamza on. God damn it! Like I'm ready. But we gotta travel, man. I'm about to go learn some French. I'm about to go learn some Spanish. And I'm about to travel, man. We gotta travel so we can see what these motherfuckers really talking about in these boardrooms. And I believe Issa Rae really said that that comment because she's trying to make money with the other side. Because, you know, Africans know how to trade. Rice came from Africa. Now, I don't know how it came. I don't know how they claimed the rice thing. But Africa owns everything. Everything comes from Africa.
All the wealth. I see what you mean.
Yeah.
And listen, I'm not saying this to denigrate or disrespect Issa Rae in any way, shape, or form. I want to work with everybody. I want everybody to have a platform. I want everybody to say their shit, but kind of recognize where you're coming from and kind of recognize when the joke goes bad. Good, you know, a joke can sour like milk, my nigga.
Yeah,
we need to know what's up. Mimi, go ahead.
I was going to say any woman that would go ahead and say disrespect your black man when you see that the police are disrespecting our black men, society is disrespecting our black men, they're already going through enough as a black man. So to see a woman to say, hey, do not respect a black man, but respect this race, that race, that race, is definitely a conspiracy. It's definitely someone trying to program things so that we can act like she's saying that we should act, which is don't respect our black man, which I think is totally wrong. And I think it's seeds that they plant. Because see, a woman that's having a hard time with her black man may listen to that and be like, oh yeah, I'm listening to that because I'm only gonna mess with the Filipinos now or the Asian, whoever it is they wanna mess with because they're listening to that. And I think it's a way to water us down as black strong women and to respect our black strong man.
Right, because look at the climate of the Philippines as it pertains to colorism.
Oh my gosh.
Even if it's in satire, that offends the Filipino people who already marginalize the darker skinned Filipinos.
Right.
Yes.
So when they do their beauty pageants, they always elevate the light skinned Asian or the light skinned European looking. You get what I'm saying? There's something about the Philippines.
Oh man.
Right? You have Polynesia, you have Melanesia, and you have Micronesia. First off, there's a whole area in the Pacific Ocean called Melanesia, melanated Asians. Like, so, I don't mean, and this is a joke. I get it. This is a joke, right? This is satire, right? Oh, I don't mean of the Filipino. That's like the black, right, of the Asians. Now, I know a sister. I met her on the Foxhole. I know her name. I'm not going to say her name, but she looked black, but she's Filipino. And marginalized like a motherfucker at home because she too dark.
Right.
But when you start looking at ancient China, go get René Rashidi's book and his work on the African origins of Asia.
Right. They're dark.
You look deeper into Chile. You look deeper into Argentina, right?
Yes.
These are all black places.
Yes.
Yes.
You get what I'm saying? Like,
Brazil.
even if it's in jest, the shit comes across as insensitive and uneducated.
I agree.
You get what I'm saying? Even if it's in jest.
But that's why it's actually so much more damaging, because people look to Issa Rae and think she's very educated. So for her to make a comment like that, which comes from miseducation or from ignorance, indoctrination, colonization, I truly feel like Nigerians, especially first generation, they're overly colonized. That's why they're the traitors. People see them as manipulators because they don't mind that they're perpetuating white colonialism.
Wow.
That's what they're doing.
They love the white
You know
man,
what I mean?
too.
And that's where colorism comes from. It would be the darkest Nigerian man want to have the lightest babies. You know what I mean?
Wow.
And I don't mean that to be a negative connotation and generalization for that people, but that's really where that history comes from for them.
And of course, everything we're talking about is some but all,
Right.
some but not all.
But that's
There are
why
no
what she said
absolutes.
is so damaging, because people are looking like, oh, she's an educated sister. She knows. So if she says they're the blacks, aka negative,
Right.
the less of the Asians, so don't pursue those. That's a even more damaging statement because people put clout on what she says.
Right. And let's not act like there's not a distinction between smart comedy and dumb comedy.
Right.
You have smart comics and then you have dumb comics.
Like Godfrey and Trevor Noah.
You get what I'm saying? What's my man? Dennis Smith, that smart comics, Chris Rock,
Gerard
Dave
Carmichael.
Chappelle, smart
Right.
comics, right? Go ahead.
What I just gotta say is that
Peaches.
Issa Rae was not thinking about how she said it, because she just blatantly meant what she said.
Well, she
Obviously.
wrote it. It's in a book.
Yeah, and most jokes come from, like you said, reality. Most of the stuff I say on stage comes from a real place, and I believe that came from a real place of her negative, her negative thinking towards the black man of America. And it's like what Mimi said: it's too many. They got to deal with just being a brother to have your famous ass degrade them. And if you said that about Asians, let's think about the history of Asians. You said date a Chinese man, a Japanese man. We know what the Japanese did to China. They raped, pillaged, and destroyed China in the 40s and 50s. But these are the men you say today.
But
These
even-
men did more than they own.
That's why
But
Rihanna's so pretty.
look, even...
Oh, see, she just threw off some
I'm
serious
just saying,
shit,
like,
right?
you gotta understand, in the 1800s, the Italians was black, and they hung
Moors.
them. They hung them in Louisiana.
Right.
They hung them like niggas, like back in the day. Like, they had picnics and hung these Italians, and they didn't know they was Italians, so somebody had to give them a damn report and tell them, hey, them were niggas. Them
All right.
Italians.
All right.
And they call them moolies now.
You're fucking Moulion. Let me get back to the
Right.
goddamn...
Well,
Let me get back real quick.
we're the only race that don't it's not natural for us to stay with our man. White people assumed you're gonna marry white man. Asian people assume you're gonna marry Asian man. We're the only race in the U.S. where it's like it's expected we should probably marry someone else.
Wow, this is a good conversation. I got to take a quick break. We're gonna play. What are we gonna play? What's a
We
good
need
one?
some
What are the
skizzy
new
right now.
ones? Play the new ones.
I need skizzy.
We need some Kanye.
Let's play Zo, man.
Yes,
We
God.
need some frivolity in this bitch. This shit got serious to the motherfucker, my nigga.
Yeah,
You're listening to the voice of reason, man. I'm Zoe Williams, and we're gonna take a quick break. We'll be right back.
I'm calling you up, I'm calling you up. 'Cause I need a love doctor, and I need it right away. I'm calling you up, I'm calling you up. 'Cause I need to hear the doctor's voice of reason.
So I got this two-timing chick who got her revenge from when I was on my two-time tip. And even when I tried to correct it, she couldn't get past how she was disrespected, neglected my effort, a pair with no trust, dirty games and affairs that been tearing us up. If things ain't picture perfect, is it really worth it? I have an idea, but I need to know for certain.
I'm calling you up, I'm calling you up. 'Cause I need a love doctor, and I need it right away. I'm calling you up, I'm calling you up. 'Cause I need to hear the doctor's voice of reason.
There's a show that's stopping you, and it's not that far from you, from you. Coming from the heart of you. Reality is not on your screen. There's a show that's stopping you, and it's not that far from you.
Ladies and gentlemen, is the show that's starring you. The voice of reason back in the building. Dash Talk. We coming with that real conversation. You under dig? I'm trying to converse with y'all. Let me tell you right now, the word is not conversate. It's converse, my niggas.
Okay.
Conversate.
We out here. The ladies are slapping us upside the dome piece with real hella shit. I'm just gonna say this right now. It's too many hundreds of motherfuckers in the chat room for y'all to not be hitting that super chat and often. Too many hundreds of motherfuckers in the chat room for y'all not to be hitting the like button.
Super chat.
I think they
super chat.
yeah.
Super chat. Super chat.
Hey, if you
You
don't
sound
stop,
like you about to.
I'll turn these lights off in this motherfucker.
These
Get my
lights is
Bill
already
Cosby
low.
on. Goddamn. Okay, sorry.
Ooh.
Wait, what?
What do you got in that
What?
drink?
What you talking about?
What do you got in here?
I'm just saying. Y'all better stop playing.
Oh my goodness.
Okay.
No, but seriously, many motherfuckers in here to be getting this good game and not supporting the
Right.
channel. You under dig?
Yes.
Oh, freebie ass niggas, but it's fine. Okay, cool. Somebody just texted me something that was very profound, and maybe this sheds a little light.
Mm-hmm.
Now, she said, you know, the text message says, wasn't she the one that said, I'm rooting for everybody black? So why would she say something counter to such a strong statement? She said maybe HBO got to her after that.
She's not black.
So,
But this book was before she got the HBO deal. That's the problem. Like,
Right.
Insecure is based off content that's in this book.
right, and I
So-
understand artistry and creativity. Back to the voice of reason. Jesus. We're in here right now. Topic is crazy. The topic is on fire. But I'm going to shift from Issa Rae. I mean, and it's not our job to have a definitive answer anyway,
Right.
right? That woman's a creative. Let her create. But at the end of the day, we have the choice of whether to support this shit or not.
Mm-hmm.
And
And black dick is good, damn it.
Hell yeah.
Can we get an endorsement for Black Dick?
Hey, I mean, I'm just saying, my yoni alone could just show you, like, black dick is life. Okay.
Black dick.
Baby, make it rain on that black.
You know that? You know that? We live in a trans everything world, man. We better hold on to something.
Only thing I want transforming is his penis.
What?
I'm just saying it was a joke.
Ooh.
See, everybody in here, it was a joke, y'all. Not everybody knew it was a joke, or we wouldn't be talking about it, Anita Maxey.
Yeah, Anita.
Guess you don't know comedy. If the joke don't go over, it wasn't funny.
Okay. For real, though.
It was a joke, and I understood it.
She probably like Asian penis.
Oh.
Wow. The voice of reason is lit tonight. I'm fucking excited. All right, here we go. Enough of that shit. Let's get to the hottest topic in the country right now. Who saw Kanye?
Yes.
Jesus, who saw it?
I did.
I think
Slavery
the world saw it.
was a choice. Now, I saw the interview with him and Charlamagne the God.
Yep. Right. It's pretty good.
That was a really good interview.
Yeah, actually, one of the
I didn't
best
see it.
Charlemagne's ever done in life.
Yeah,
I don't
it was
even
a
like
really good
Charlamagne
interview.
like that.
I didn't see it.
I love Charlamagne. Holla.
And let me just say this: Kanye's a Gemini, smart guy.
Yeah.
He's smart, But here's the thing: let's just come back. You could be smart and say some dumb shit.
Right.
I do all the time.
And celebrity operates like radio, meaning once you say some shit on radio, it's out there.
It's it.
It's
And when
there.
you're a celebrity, once you say some shit, good, bad, or indifferent, it's out there.
Right.
And it is really fucking hard to pull it back.
You can't.
So, yeah, maybe you're trying to wax philosophical. Maybe you're trying to articulate a thought that's deeper than your ability to word.
Like
then,
what my dumb ass did that day on the show.
yeah, and then you wind up saying some shit that's motherfucking crazy as hell. Because the bottom line is, motherfuckers did not wake up on the west coast of Africa and said, I'm gonna decide to be a slave today.
Right.
Nobody did that.
I will say,
Nobody
did anybody
that.
else read that's where you say you can't take it back? He wrote like a following whole like explanation afterwards. That was way better articulated. But he is like he's consistently who says some dumb, like it come out fucked up.
Right.
And then he has to re-articulate it 82 times later. Because what he wrote to follow it up did make sense, and other people had said the same shit before.
Right. Some people are better at writing than they are at speaking. Let me give you a perfect example of that. Nas. When you hear Nas talk,
oh God,
he's not, and I'm not saying he's inarticulate, but he's not as articulate when he's rhyming.
Yes.
Yeah.
When he's rhyming, Nas is crystal clear.
Right.
But when he's talking, it's that Queens, you know what I mean, son. Yeah, it's some, you know what I'm saying? It's that mumble, little. But I chalk it up to the Virgo in him. You understand? I chalk it up to the Virgo. But I'm just saying, like, sometimes, guys are just, or people are better writers in terms of expressing themselves than they are speakers. And I think Kanye is one of those guys. And I don't support none of the dumb shit he says.
Right.
None of it. I'm not here for it. I'm not supporting any of the dumb shit he says. I understand his drive to be a motherfucking great, but I mean, I understand, whatever the thinker thinks, the prover will prove. I get all of that. But he's talking about the greatest ever. That's what he said. And he said to this point, he's the greatest ever.
His ego.
Right? And he said, and Charlamagne was like, you mean like Michael Jackson and Prince and he was like, yeah, and Steve Jobs and he naming all the giants of industry of this time, and he's saying he's the greatest. And okay, I'm gonna give you a shout out for confidence, my nigga.
Yeah.
But Thriller, my nigga, that's 150 million times platinum.
Off the wall.
No. We're not even gonna go to off the wall. We're just gonna stay at Thriller. That's 150 million times platinum, my nigga. When niggas was actually, when you had to get the fuck up, put on some clothes, and drive down to the store and buy this bitch.
Right.
This is before streams. This is before, all that. But nigga, I'm buy this album. And how many times when you bought the first album and you wore that motherfucker out or you lost it or it broke, how many times did you go back and buy that bitch? You understand?
Right.
That's 150 million times platinum. Let's just understand the magnitude and the gravity of that.
Right. Okay.
So, I mean, I think the brother is super talented. I think he's, I think he's special in that way. But I'm a big believer of this. Let other motherfuckers say you the greatest.
Right.
That's what I'm about to say.
Michael Jordan never called himself the greatest.
Michael Jackson never called himself the greatest.
No, well, Michael Jackson did call himself the king of pop.
He sure did.
Which I fuck with.
He was.
He had become
I fuck with.
He had to work hard as a kid.
Right. But when you talk to Mike always talked about the motherfuckers who came before him.
Right.
He talked about what's the
James
guy?
Brown.
He talked about James Brown. I'm not talking about him. I'm talking about somebody else though. Who was the one guy that Michael talked about? It was one guy.
Oh, I know.
You know what I'm talking about. He had the little finger wave dude that used to dance.
Yeah.
No. Y'all know who I'm talking about. Mike.
Jackie Wilson.
Jackie Wilson. He talked about Jackie Wilson. Because these are influences on him.
Right.
You understand? He always gave people props that came before him. So, and hey, I'm all for saying you the greatest and believing you the greatest, but god damn it. I think it's better when the people say it.
I agree.
I totally agree.
Jackie Wilson. Right. There it is. Everybody's chiming in on it. So
Can I be like the fire stoker for a second?
yeah,
though?
because I want to know what your opinions are about what he said.
Well, I mean, I have a lot of opinions on what he said and what people are saying, but in regards to him, again, this is consistent. He's always said he was the greatest. This isn't new.
I know.
So when people say like, oh, he's going crazy or he's lost it, again, look at someone over time. He is consistently still being Kanye. And he's always said he thinks he's the greatest. He's just re-articulating, like we expected him to change his narration because we don't agree. But the thing that I wanted to stoke the fire with is, but we consistently preach, teach, and know that you can be a self-fulfilling prophecy and that you can speak things into existence.
Right.
So what if Kanye on the grand scheme of things is doing just the greatest, and then maybe one day I'm gonna be the motherfucking greatest? Because that's what we teach our children. That's what Christians teach and preach. Like everybody says, yeah, like not
Manifest
even, not
greatness.
fake it, but speak it into existence. The more you repeat it, the more it may be.
That's right. Manifest it.
No arguments from
So
me.
I was just like, we can dog it, but like he's practicing it on a level most people ain't got the fucking balls to practice it on.
How about it?
I think Kanye needs therapy, period. I mean, he can think he's the greatest. He can speak it into existence. But you need to speak that clothing line that's whack. And you charging thousands and thousands of dollars for that bullshit. Did y'all see the picture of him on my Instagram with the cut off sweatshorts and that shirt up to his belly out? That's not the activity of the Kanye we knew from before. Like Tiff said, he's always been consistent in his bullshit as thinking he's the best of everything. But he's never been the person that's out seen sloppy. Look how big he's gotten. There's something else going on with Kanye right now, mentally.
Yeah, it's that witchcraft pussy, man. I'm telling you. You need to burn a white candle. Kanye, if you listen, look, I got the recipe for breaking up with a white woman. It's a white breakup candle. I can get it for you. You need it? I got you.
I can get
They
you
got
the book.
Caucasian candles out here.
He needs a amount is what he need.
Let me just say this. I don't want to put no energy out there. About that man's family. What I want to say is, if you're still having a difficult time healing from the loss of your mother, I mean, that is internal work.
Right.
Right? That requires internal work, and it's hard to get internal work when you're an external person. Remember, a celebrity is an external person. And one of the things that they struggle to have, the bigger they are, they struggle to have themselves because they're defined by their external persona. So he definitely has to find a way to reconnect with the inside, you know? And sometimes that's just understanding that the people we lose are never gone. We just lose them in the form that they were in.
Right.
But, you know, that let me just break this down. The first law of thermodynamics, energy can never be destroyed. It can only change form.
Right.
So, you know, death, quote unquote, is inevitable for us. But that doesn't necessarily mean, you know, the person that has passed away from us. Like, they're still there. It just requires a higher level of fucking spirituality to be able to access them.
Right.
Now, you could be entertained by Star Wars in the movie when fucking Force ghosts show up and talk to Obi-Wan Kenobi, right? Or Yoda shows as a spirit ghost to go coach Luke Skywalker, my nigga.
Right.
But there is, you know, a spiritual way to stay in communion with those who've passed on.
That is true.
You want to say, oh, look at all the African symbolism and all the African culture that's in Black Panther. But part of Black Panther was the ancestral realm.
Right.
Which real African shamans believe in.
Right.
So, you know, in a lot of ways, it's selfish to be like, I still want them here.
Right.
Their time is their time. You know, dig? Their time is their time. And when they move on, you evolve too.
Right.
That's true.
You know, an old New Orleans saying is when you lose them, you gain an advocate on the other side.
You gain an ancestor.
You gain an ancestor.
That's right.
Right.
So, I mean, I think that's important to keep in mind. Like, let me just say this too about therapy for Black people. Get Black therapists.
Yes. Yes. Psychiatrists.
Don't get white therapists. Not to say that white therapists aren't good. Not to say that they aren't good, but you have to factor in their understanding of your culture.
Well, not even a Black therapist, though, but how I teach people as an actual clinician who is, you know, licensed to diagnose people is you should shop your therapist like you shop jeans, a good fit. Yeah, you can go to 1 or 2 sessions and it's called building rapport. You're not going to tell people the information they need to know unless you feel comfortable. And that's where I don't feel comfortable. People ask me all the time, Tiffany, as a licensed mental health practitioner, does so-and-so need this or they have that diagnosis, whatever. I'm not going to comment on that. Why? Because to give a good diagnosis, you have to have evidence, visually see it yourself, or then report to you accurate symptoms to give an accurate diagnosis.
Right.
So no, any fucking mental health professional who's on TV feeling comfortable saying, oh, I think he's that, you should fucking lose your license. Because you don't have the necessary information to actually accurately diagnose somebody.
So I'm going to go back and say it again. Because what you just said was good information, but it doesn't invalidate what I just said.
Oh, yeah, but they should have good rapport.
There is a cultural component that white people don't understand.
Exactly.
But what I'm saying is make sure it's a good Black therapist. Make sure
Right.
you're just not seeing a Black therapist
make
because
sure,
they're Black.
Make sure any therapist is good.
Exactly.
Make sure any therapist is competent. But I'm telling you that cultural component matters too.
100%.
Because if you get a motherfucking therapist in there who is competent but is oblivious to where you come from, how the fuck can he relate?
Exactly.
That part.
So there has to be some, I understand where you coming from. I've been there.
Yeah, you don't want a white therapist who you're telling all these problems with, feeling like you're getting,
And they're like,
you know,
what the fuck is this?
Well, just tell them about how you feel like you're being profiled, and now they think you have some kind of dissociative disorder because they think you're paranoid because you think people are being racist all the time. No, bitch. People could really just be profiling me all the damn time. I live in a suburb.
How about it?
And our therapist used to be our beauty hair, like the lady who do our
barber
hair,
and
the
the
barber.
beautician.
Like we need to get in touch with our people. We need to go in these shops that's in our area, that's Black owned, and give those couple of dollars and spend time in your community and see what's going on. I mean, the best advice you can get is from an older person. I mean, you could. Some might have.
Call me old.
I'm just saying.
I don't appreciate it.
I actually.
Let me call me old.
Okay.
God damn it. You don't call me old. You understand?
I think Kanye just needs therapy. He's got to deal with the issues like Zoe said, because ever since his mom passed, there has been evidence of him slowly slipping down a hill. Or he needs to go to the local church and get some holy oil thrown at him and some hands laid on him by some holy oil. Yes,
Okay,
I said
go lay
it.
down.
He needs prayer and therapy. He might be under a spiritual attack. We don't know. It's something going on with him. And as a person that reads about spiritual warfare, I see it on him.
I think he
read about it?
Yes, I have experienced it. I see it. I know what he's going through.
What
and
kind
he
of
needs
spiritual
help.
warfare have you? What are you, a general, a private, a corporal?
I'm probably private first class because I cannot compete with God. No, but spiritual warfare, like it's like when you have a dream. It's when you have a dream. Okay, everybody
Phil,
in
turn
here
off her mic.
had a dream.
She
Don't
out here
turn off my
tripping.
mic. Everybody's
Like,
had a
Jesus
dream.
not here, girl.
Wait, but everybody's had a dream, or you've had one where
What
you
the
feel like you're
fuck?
being held down. You can't get up. You can't talk. You can't do anything. And the only thing that can free you is prayer.
He trapped in a closet, girl.
I'm just saying, he's in a closet. He's in the sunken place
I'm
right now.
just gonna say it again. Even Charlemagne the God said, I do it every, I do it. What did he say? I have therapy every Friday.
Right.
Right.
Right. And it's always good. I always look at a therapist as a professional listener.
Yes.
Yep.
Right. They can't necessarily understand your experience
We
from
empathize.
the point of experiencing it the way you do, but they can empathize. They can actively listen. Right. And then they can provide perspective that isn't clouded by emotion or sentimentality and all of that. So, man, get that shit cracking on a fucking regular, homie.
ASAP.
Right, because that's where I said it's not necessarily a mental health issue, but like grief is strong. And
Right.
and this is what I coach people on grief counseling specifically is society has taught us there's a time limit because you got to go back to work or you need to act this way or that way. And I tell people, like, give yourself grace in the fact that grief has no time limit. And it's cyclical. It's not like linear where like, oh, you go through the stage of anger and then denial and then, like there's stages of grief, but you're going to go through that shit multiple times.
Right.
So I just
Right.
really feel like no one's giving him the permission to just address the fact that like, motherfucker, you struggling with this grief shit.
And
Because he
again-
is. His
and
mom was
again-
huge for him.
And again, he's external.
Yes.
Right.
You want to be internal? Sometimes you got to disconnect and go away from the stimulus that keeps you external.
Right.
Which
the
he apparently tried to do.
The celebrity feeds the ego.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you got to just step away. And I mean, really step away.
Yeah. Maybe he's feeling like he's about to lose his celebrity because he's reaching out to all these different people, calling DJs, saying I love you on TMZ, saying the most absurd things. It's like, Kanye, you need that big titty grandma arm flapping hug, dude. You need all of that.
Okay.
He need a big ass.
I will say he addresses it though in that T.I.
hug.
song. Did anybody listen to the new song with T.I.? Like he addresses a good portion of the stuff that went on, and I think it was, you said he's genius. The lyrics to the song were generated before the actions in which the song is talking about.
What
right? So he
song?
addresses putting on the hat with Trump and the tweets and all of that. The song is him and T.I. having a conversation about shit before it even happens, which means he anticipated how y'all would react to the shit that he did, which shows
Shit
that
is
he's
smart.
Yeah. It shows that he
Entertainment.
was actually conscious about doing the stuff. So we all acting like he's crazy. No, he knew exactly how your motherfuckers was going
Nah,
to respond
he's
to the
smart.
tweets.
It's
Yeah.
entertainment.
You know what I mean?
It's
So he was
entertainment.
very strategic in that. That's why I said he's consistently being Kanye. When he has a new record, he does some crazy shit to drum up what? It's called a media tour.
Yeah.
Hey,
Smart.
you pay
I
other
love it.
people to go to war with you. Remember the 50 Cent versus Kanye? They did all that. I'm telling you. The Tupac versus Biggie. This is all entertainment, you guys. Okay?
And it could all just be a giant distraction
Exactly.
from North Korea and
North
South
Korea,
Korea.
exactly.
Right. What we should
Getting
really
together,
be,
being
Village
homies.
Days.
what we should really be paying attention to.
That is some like, as much as we talked about, we want that historically for like what the last 60s plus years. People don't understand what the implication of that is and why would they do it now.
Right. I thought y'all didn't like each other.
They about to blow us up because they decided they equally don't like Trump. Like, what's going on?
Wow.
Yeah.
Why now? Why now, my homie?
Because the money ain't worth nothing. They owe too much money. They not printing any more new money. That shit is over with. Bitcoin, they turning Bitcoin to gold. Like, they burning gold right now. They getting silver right now. Like, come on. They want you to trade in your gun right now. Like, come on. They want to take over the fucking Matrix, my nigga. You better wake the fuck up.
Ooh, shit. That's like that video I sent you that day. So yeah, they are doing that. But that Kanye thing, back to that, if he can address the fact that he loves Trump so much, maybe he needs to come into some kind. I mean, he needs to talk to him about the stupid shit he's doing.
Okay, so look, because we got to get out of here.
Okay.
You know, you guys never look at your own clocks. You just be talking, going on a goddamn tangent.
Hey, you started it today.
Hey, Tone Talk said this is one of the flashpoints that black celebrity is dying. He's in the chat room right now, and he makes a good point.
Right.
It's a competition.
This shit was fire. We appreciate everybody who hit the super chat button. We thank everybody for being in the chat room. We don't have all the motherfucking answers. You dig? We just love having a discussion. This was the first ever Voice of Reason current event with the ladies show. And I think the ladies, they did really well tonight.
Thank you, Zoe.
You dig?
Thank you, Zoe.
This was a dope show. Listen, we will be back Friday with another slapper upside your dome piece on your way home from Jones Beach. I'm Zoe Williams, the Voice of Reason. Appreciate everybody for